Welcome to JW Highlights and World News. My name is Vern, and today I am wearing my hat. I'm wearing my hat because today, when I look at the headlines, it's kind of funny. It says it's a New Orleans federal judge orders a Jehovah's Witness drugged for trial. That sounds like a fictional story. If you were a Jehovah's Witness, you don't hear of this kind of stuff. Why would a Jehovah's Witness need drugged for trial? What's going on? Now, if you think that's funny, I ran an article or a video not too long ago, and it was called The Naked Jehovah's Witness. And you probably heard some of that there, but if you just plug in on your YouTube Naked Jehovah's, it'll come up. And it's a naked Jehovah's Witness kidnapped their neighbor because Armageddon's coming. And that's what this one was about. It's hard to find it on my site, but if you just go into YouTube and plug in Naked Jehovah's, that's all you got to put in. And this article will come up. This is the thumbnail, and it's my site. And I ran an article on that.
My name is Vern.
Yeah. So it's funny, but it's real. Why are Jehovah's Witnesses? Now, these naked Jehovah's Witnesses, they apparently got themselves on some drugs, some tea or something, and they were hallucinating, and they thought the Armageddon was coming, and they rammed their vehicle through some gates, and they caused a whole disturbance. In fact, they kidnapped their neighbor. And I don't think their neighbor was a JW. I think he was a worldly guy, but it says they kidnapped the neighbor, these naked Jehovah's Witnesses. And there was kids involved even in the car, so none of the names could be released. But I know them all here. I'm from Edmonton, so. But it was funny to me. But it's happening. It's funny, but it's sad. Okay, we got to look at that side of it. Now, I'm going to take that off. That's not what the headlines are. The headlines are the New Orleans federal judge orders Jehovah's Witness drugged for trial, appeals court box. Now, when we think of Jehovah's Witnesses drugged and mental problems with Jehovah's Witnesses, if you were if you were a heavily immersed Jehovah's Witness into the religion, you would have seen a lot of mental distresses. I know even myself, and this is going way back to, holy smokes, 1992, I had a period of time within the Jehovah's Witness religion. I couldn't get help from the elders or from anybody. And I actually went to the hospital, and they put me in a psychiatric help ward for about 3 days, helping me to calm down. And there's situations that happen in my life I can't even talk about online right now because I don't know, what the legal consequences and all of that. And sometimes we don't want to say a whole lot online, but for a lot of us ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, we have seen and perhaps been through some really tough times. Now, so it's no surprise to me when I see an article like this. Now let's take a look at this article. It says the defendant accused of threatening the judge, and he cites religious beliefs for refusing medication. So it sounds like this guy was on medication. Let's get the whole story. Bryant Harris raised eyebrows at the federal courthouse in New Orleans when the FBI arrested him on a charge of threatening to assault U.S. District Judge Susie Morgan. Now he's trying to avoid another judge's order that he be forcibly medicated for trial. Purporting to be an Army veteran and trained marksman, Harris called Morgan's chambers in 2020 to complain about the New Orleans Police Department, the subject of a long-standing reform order that Morgan oversees. He also asked how many security personnel were assigned to Morgan, explaining, "I need to know how many people I need to take out to get to the judge." This is what the guy said. This Jehovah's Witness, I don't know, we'll get to that in a second. An FBI agent wrote this in a sworn affidavit to arrest him. So a health evaluation found Harris delusional and incompetent for trial, yet he refused medication, triggering court hearings. A Jehovah's Witness, Harris, now 50, said his religious beliefs required abstaining from psychiatric medicine. Now, I don't know if you're a Jehovah's Witness or whatever. I don't think they say that. But anyways, let's read the article. It says Judge Nanette Jolivet Brown concluded that the government's important interest in prosecuting Harris outweighed his First Amendment religious objection and ordered the medication. So he was using religious objection. Isn't that interesting? On Friday, however, the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals sent the case back to Brown, saying she must also consider the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993. That law requires a compelling government interest to overcome religious objections and was famously cited in the 2014 U.S. Supreme Court decision letting Hobby Lobby Stores, Inc. deny employee health insurance coverage for contraception because the company owners cited religious beliefs that contraception is immoral. Wow. Brown was appointed to the court by the President Barack Obama. The Fifth Circuit's ruling came in a unanimous decision by Judge Jennifer Elrod of Houston, appointed by the President George W. Bush, and James Ho of Dallas, and Andrew blah, 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 appointed by President Donald Trump. So that's the news. This Jehovah's Witness didn't want to take his medication, didn't want to go to court. He's an ex-veteran. Well, Tony Morris, if you know anything about the hierarchy of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, Tony Morris, who recently was kicked out of the governing body, he was a veteran. And, we talk a lot about why did he get the big house and all of that. Well, he is a higher end. He donated his life to the organization. And, in all fairness to him, he probably deserves that house. Probably a lot of other ones deserve something like that. It's a duplex. It's nothing big. In all honesty, it's a duplex. It's not a mansion. Really, the mansion is the Jehovah's Witness headquarters in New York. You have this mansion all around a lake. You see, they were downtown New York at the Watchtower headquarters. The property became worth a lot of money. So they sold it, and then they got a labor force, free labor, to build a mansion around a lake. So if you were a supreme council of a religious organization, wouldn't you want to live in a mansion around a lake? Secluded? Kind of like us out here in the farm, So I wanted to show you where the news came from. My good wife, as I said, she has a channel, Gone with the Grid, and you can check that out. And she has a lot of stuff on there. And there's actually a Fixing My Faith section, and we do some stuff on there. But I wanted to show you the Gone with the Grid channel. We have a video channel, and my good wife does it all. But so as an ex-Jehovah's Witness, leaving it, what really helped me in my mind, and if you guys have the ability to do this, go to a zoo even, get yourself around some animals. I found animals are a huge therapy. I just put a movie on there about the horse. I'm a diva of a horse. You will love me. And she's a beautiful horse. And you work with horses, you work with animals. We have an off-grid site, and a little farm. So we're moving off our farm, and we're planning on living in a cabin. And that's a goal on this channel. We're going to videotape it all. But anyways, my good wife does all of that, Gone with the Grid. And we just started this out. We only have 7 videos out, 11 subscribers. And she does a lot of work. And a way that you can support us is if you want to get away for just a moment, get off grid, check the channel out. And it's really good for the mind. So I'm going to go back to the news studio, and I'm going back to this article on the Jehovah's Witnesses drugged for trial. So like I was saying at the outset, as an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and as Jehovah's Witnesses, we all know that there's a lot of mental issues within the organization, a lot of suicidal things. And I was around it a lot. I was around 2 attempted suicides, 2 or 3 attempted suicides in my life. I can't give out details. And I had to help them. If I didn't do something, they may not be here today. these suicidal victims, and it's really serious. And these suicidal victims, in this case, the one that I had the opportunity to help was a CSA victim. And it was covered up. It was actually, the information was given to every congregation, and they covered it up and covered it up. So, and they don't give the victims help. They just send them out. They actually don't even want to hear about it. So if you're a charitable organization and like Jesus, you went out and helped people, orphans and widows, like James 1:27 says, that a religion that is pure and undefiled before God is one that helps orphans and widows. And so that's probably the most important thing for these religious organizations. If they really want to live up to the Bible, that's where they all need to be, is helping people. And when people are within the religion, they're mentally confused and they're on drugs and they're grasping around worshiping these 9 men, which is really idol worship. It causes cognitive dissonance because the brain knows that that's idol worship. But then the brain, another part of the brain says to keep doing it because it's the truth. But then the brain reads in the Bible that Jesus is the truth. And then there's some more cognitive dissonance. And then somehow, by the watchtower pounding their message out, they overshadow what the Bible really says. And that's how most cults work. So anyways, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We talk about some of these things on our JW Night Talk live chat every Tuesday night, and we invite you all to join. So that's why it's important. Subscribe and press the ding, and then when we throw out a new movie, you can watch it. So thanks again for all of you that have been supporting us, and we really appreciate that. And until next time, keep living your life with love. Bye for now.